Alright class, we're back at it with compound interest 8B-7. It's similar to simple interest but has a little bit more added onto it. So let's get started. The equation that we'll be using for compound interest is A equals P times the quantity of 1 plus the rate raised to the power of the time. So it might look a little more complicated, but again, all you have to do is identify each part and then plug it into your equation. So A is amount, which is equal to the total balance. That means this includes the interest and the original amount combined. So at the end, when you use this equation, you're going to end up with the total balance after everything. This is different because remember, simple interest, the I only gave interest, but here we're talking about the total balance. P, same thing as before. P is principal, which is the original. R is the rate. Remember, it has to be a decimal. And you're converting from a percent by moving 2 places to the left. Review from yesterday. T, again, is time in years. So, P, R, T are all the same thing, but you're just doing different things with them. You're taking the principal, you multiply it, you do 1 plus the rate as a decimal, and then you raise this part to a power, whatever the time is. So on your calculators, the button you use to raise something to a power is the little caret. So you'll see a little caret. So let's say that you want to do 10 raised to the 6th power. You would type in 10 caret 6. And it should show the 6 in a little box in the upper right hand corner of the 10. So that'll be important for the rest of the practice problems. Let's go ahead and look at this example. It says Mr. Cohen's has $10,000 in a savings account, gaining compound interest at a rate of 5%. What is his total after 10 years? You'll notice this example might seem very familiar because we used the same scenario with simple interest, but this time it's compound interest. So every time you read a word problem, you need to pay careful attention to what kind of interest it is, because as we will soon discover, it makes a big difference. So again, we have to identify our 3 parts, P, R, T. What is the principal? How much do we start with? Well, it says Mr. Cohen's has $10,000. So our P is $10,000. Now the rate, it says the rate of 5%. Remember, when we have rate, it has to be in a decimal. So we take the 5%, take the decimal that's at the end, move it 2 places to the left, and we get 0.05. Now, how much time passes? It says 10 years. So we have T. Again, use the formula they give and plug them in exactly where they're supposed to be. So the total amount is equal to the principal, the starting amount, which is $10,000, times the quantity of 1 plus the rate, which is 0.05, raised to the power of the time. So the time is 10 years. So we're going to take 1 plus 0.05 and raise it to the 10th power. You can plug this in exactly into your calculator. 10,000 times. Now, when you do times, make sure you have parentheses around the 1 plus 0.05. If you want to go ahead and add it before you plug it into the calculator, you could do that. You could do 10,000 times 1.05 raised to the 10th power. Either way, you either have to have parentheses here, or you have to go ahead and add it. So make sure you're doing that correctly. Otherwise, the power will raise something else. So A equals 10,000. Either way you plug it in, make sure you do it correctly. You will end up with $16,288.95. and that's rounded a little bit. Go ahead and plug it in yourself to make sure that you know how to plug this into the calculator and you get the same number. Now, that is the total amount, so it's asking how much interest did he earn. Interest is the additional amount that you earn. So, if this is the total amount, how much did he increase by from the beginning? To find this, we have to do the interest is equal to the amount minus the principal. So the interest is equal to the total minus the original, right? So how much did he increase by? So we have I is equal to the total amount we got just now, $16,000, $288.95 minus the original, which he started with $10,000. So the interest is $6,288.95. Make sure you check, what is the question asking? If it asks for the total balance, you have it here. If it asks for the interest gained, then you have to take an extra step. Okay, so this last question asks, how much more interest does he earn if it's compound interest instead of simple interest? So we use this exact same example from 8B-7, yesterday's notes. So if you need to go back and check, we used $10,000, 5% interest, and 10 years. And so with these three numbers, what's the difference if he does compound interest versus simple interest? So the question is asking how much more interest he earns. From compound interest, earlier we found the total amount was $16,288.95. But if we're talking about interest, then for compound, it's $6,288.95 because we subtracted the original. Now with simple interest, when we did I equals PRT, we got $5,000. So if you notice, compound interest gives you more money back. So in any question when it asks you to compare compound versus simple interest with the three same numbers for P, R, and T, compound interest is always going to be greater. So this question asks exactly how much greater. So you take compound interest and you subtract the simple interest and see how much more you got. So just by simple subtraction, we see that with compound interest, you earn an extra $1,288.95. It's pretty significant. So even just in real life, if you have an option to pick between compound and simple interest, go for the compound. You'll make some money in the long run. You have one practice problem with a couple different parts in it, so please make sure that you do that before math workshop. Check what the question is asking.